Guys, welcome back to Independent Land Rover. So, interesting challenge I've just been served from my crew here at Independent. We are all in love with the new D90, especially the V8 version. We've seen it out on the trails, seen it in the wild, seen it around town. We've serviced a few here. Fantastic vehicles. They are just monsters, beasts. So everyone loves them. How do we get one? So the challenge is going to be, we want to do this in 1 year. So by December 2024, we need our V8 D90 in the shop. We are going to buy maybe a Disco 1, maybe a Disco 2, something we can get for $1,000. Fix it up, hopefully on the cheap, level up, sell that for more, buy maybe a P38 or an LR3 or something. Keep leveling up, and a year from now, we want our D90.
A great success!
Hey, is this Mr. Ivan? You have the 2003 Discovery for sale on Facebook Marketplace?
Yes, that's right.
That's you? Great. So really interested in it. Looks great. Vienna green. And it says $2,000. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Well, it's green. It's $2,000. It drives well.
Yep. There's something there. I say it says the engine has a knocking noise. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
It knocks.
Knocks.
Yeah. Not too bad though.
And some rust in the back of the frame.
Yep. There's some rust back there.
Yeah, that's pretty common with them. So are there any holes in the frame, or is it just surface rust?
I'm not sure. I really haven't looked.
All right. Well, I'm really interested. Can I come and look at it this afternoon?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll be available.
Great. All right. My name's Dean, and I look forward to seeing it. So
Great. We'll see you soon.
Great.
Approximately 10 hours later.
We got one. So this is what we've chosen. $1,000, 2003 Land Rover Discovery. So some positives, some negatives. Positives, let's walk around it. Vienna green paint is beautiful. Good tires, bad mud flap. Interior is in fantastic shape. Black leather seats, beautiful dash. Headline is fantastic. Horn buttons falling out. Heated seats, dual sunroofs that work. Really good front bumper and a whole lot of bird. The 2003 has the beautiful headlights. This one's in great shape. The bad, the engine has a knock, sleeves noisy. No coolant in the engine. Needs a good cleanup over here. It hasn't been serviced in a while. I think this one's going to be a winner. There are some positives, some negatives. The frame rust is a big issue. Rusty. We're going to be able to cut the back of the frame out. These are very common where water sits in the back of the frame, rust from the inside out. So we're going to have to cut all that section out, get new in, and that'll solve it. But a lot of work there. So we are back inside the shop at Independent. And if you look around, we have a torn down V8 Land Rover engine here. So what this is the engine that came out of our project vehicle that we went to pick up in the last video. We bought it for $800. We're turning it into an off-road beast. That engine was seized. We removed it from the vehicle and we've torn it down. Engine's in great shape. So we are busy cleaning it up and going to rebuild it. And this is the engine that's going to go in our vehicle that we're going to flip. Game plan. What we're going to do on this engine is re-hone the bores in the cylinder. So the engine's seized up, basically lack of oil, also from sitting. So bearings are actually in really good shape. So we're gonna use new bearings. The crank pistons are all good. We're gonna hone out the bores, clean everything up, get new rings on it, new bearings, assemble it with all new seals and gaskets, and we should be good. First steps, bottom of the engine. We've removed the crankshaft. And the crankshaft is real nice. The journals are nice and smooth. There's no pickup or any burrs or anything. We were concerned, as you see from the video, we had that timing cover that was full of silicone sealant, so basically starving the engine of oil. Luckily, it hadn't been running for long because all of the bearings, everything inside the engine are still in great shape. No signs of anything seizing up over here. The problem was that when this engine sat, maybe some of the lack of oil on the top end of these pistons have caused these piston rings to seize up. And then some of these small end bearings, the gudgeon pins. So this bearing is totally seized up in here, so we have to release that. This is why the engine went seized, because when the piston went up and down, it couldn't pivot. So we've released most of these. This one we still have to release, and we'll put new rings on it, new bearings when we rebuild it. One of the other issues we had with this engine, not only was it seized up, but when we pulled the cylinder heads off, noticed a couple things. The valves had hit the pistons. One of these valves, which you can see over here, is pushed up, so this valve is actually bent. So all of these valves at some stage had spun and hit the top of the pistons. We had noticed when we took off the timing cover that the timing marks weren't lined up. So when someone put a new timing chain on the engine, they forgot to line up or didn't know exactly where the timing marks were, had them off, and when the engine first spun over, the valves hit the pistons. Luckily it didn't do a lot of damage, or very little damage. They did, if you see the witness marks on the top of the piston, little tap over there. When we took the pistons out, sometimes these can crack from that, but there's no crack or damage, so we'll clean that up, put new valves in the heads, and we'll be good to go. A good win over here is that these heads had recently been redone. So the machine shop had done them, skimmed them, put all new valve stem seals, everything in, and they'd obviously done that and then messed up with the timing and then damaged the valve. So a lot of money put into it already, so we'll be able to salvage that. So we have our engine block totally stripped. We've already gone ahead and cleaned this. What we're going to do now is we need to hone these cylinders. We're not oversizing the pistons or anything because they're still in great shape. There's no scoring or anything, but the cylinders are glazed. So we're going to hone out these cylinders, so when we put new rings in them, it gives a nice surface for the rings to grab into. To hone the cylinders, a couple of different hones you can get. What we like is what they call a bubble hone. So it's a flexible hone like this. It just has these, I think they're ceramic little balls on the end, and it'll go in, and it just, what we want to create is a nice cross hatch inside the cylinder walls. We'll gently put it in, take some of our fluid, Alright, so that's it. So just a little at a time. You don't want it too much because you're going to open up the size of the bore. So just like we're just trying to get the glaze and the contaminants away, any little marks in the bore. So we hone it out like that. And if you see inside, some nice cross hatching, just a nice clean surface for the new rings. Alright, so we have our crankshaft cleaned. Journals all nice. We've scuffed them down with some Scotch-Brite pad. So just get a nice soft Scotch-Brite pad, and we've cleaned these down, cleaned them up, and this crank is now ready to go in the engine. So inside the engine, nice and clean, we have the bearings inside. We're going to put some assembly lube on all the bearings, and then get this crankshaft in. Alright, so we have the crankshaft in. So important on these bearing caps is they're all numbered, luckily. If they weren't numbered, we definitely need to mark them. These bearing caps have to go in the exact same position because they're down, and then this thing gets line bored for it to match. So if you switch these over, the engine won't turn. Alright, so we have the bearing caps down, initial torque of 10 foot-pounds, and we got to do, that's already done, and now we got to do the final torque of 53 foot-pounds. So I've set it to 53. And what I like to do after each one is just turn it over, make sure it spins freely. All right, guys, I think it's a good time to wrap this one up. We are making great progress on our engine that we're building for this project vehicle. Check us out on the next video. We're gonna finish off this engine, repair the frame, repair the rust, detail the car, fix some of those bits and pieces like the horn button, some of the things that weren't working. Get this thing advertised, sold, and move on to the next. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't already, check out the video from last week on our off-road build we're doing, and we'll see you in the next video. Drive them. Holy moly, that is a lot of noise.